YouTube, what's going on? Woody P coming back with another one. Let's get it. You know I don't stop. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it going. Today I'm gonna talk about work husband and work wives in the workplace. What is this known as? A work spouse. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that today. I was doing some reading on Forbes.com. They always have some interesting articles, some fun articles. So this article was actually written in 2020, so it's not too long ago, but it's still prevalent in the workplace. Like I say, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've heard stories, so we'll talk about that today. It's gonna be a fun topic. Work husband and work wives in the workplace, also known as a work spouse. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Before I start the video, please watch the entire video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel to receive more content like this, just content about life and various topics. Let's get it. But yeah, I was doing some reading on Forbes.com, and they always have some silly fun articles. And you know, I like to talk about things that people don't talk about. You know, and this is something that, you know, people might not touch on or talk about, but I'm gonna talk about it because why not? You know, Woody P, I told you I cover the dark topics, so I'm gonna come from different angles. So this is what I do. But yeah, let me start off with a little paragraph because it's showing you proof. They gave some statistics to let you know that it's still prevalent in the workplace. Not a prevalent as much because you got the Me Too movement and things like that, and a lot of men don't want to mess around with HR, known as human resources. So not as prevalent as much, but it still goes on. It still goes on today. So start off with a little paragraph. They did a survey. So this was on Forbes.com, but they did the survey from Society for Human Resource Management found that 25% of workers have had a work wife or work husband. Earlier this year, a Simply Hire survey indicated that about half of women and 41% of men reported having had a work spouse at some point in their careers. Half of women and 41% of men have had a work spouse at some point in their careers. And a work spouse is very interesting because I can actually break it down, because it starts off at like first base, second base, third base, then a home run before like a real affair starts, where it like leaves the workplace and like, you know, really starts to get down. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna break this down though. So stick with me on this one. So you have first base. And I'm not taking no sides. This is for men and women. This is how it goes though. You have first base. First base usually is when you're two flirting with each other. So this is your way of flirting. You ask them for help with your work. You might not even need help with your work, but that's your way of, you know, getting them around you in your presence. And, you know, just flirting back and forth, you know. You don't really even need help with your work. You might need help. And if you do need help, that's the first person you're gonna ask for help. So it'll start off like that, like just helping each other with the work, even when you don't even need the help, or you might need the help, and that's the first person they'll go to. So that's how it works. Work spouse start for first base. That's first base. Before the home run comes, you gotta go through the bases. So that was first base. Second base. Like I said, I heard stories. I've, you know, seen this with my own eyes, you know, working years, you know, seeing this. And so second base would be buying each other lunch. Now this is like the investment stage. Now somebody's coming out of pocket. Now it's getting a little more serious now. So buying each other lunch. You say, oh, what you want for lunch? I got you this day. Now there's some investment going on. So that would be second base once you start asking each other shit, what you want for lunch? Now you, like I say, you're spending some money now. Now it's getting serious now. Now it's getting interesting. Now it's getting interesting. So buying each other lunch now. One day he may buy the lunch, one day she may buy the lunch. You know what I mean? And And I'm gonna I'm gonna cover this all the way around across the board, because there's telltale signs too. Like if you're the one that's kind of like get cheated on, by your husband or wife or girlfriend at work, there's signs that you'll get, and I'm gonna give you the signs at the end of towards the end of the video, once I get through all the bases and the home run. So yeah, second base, like I said, is just the investment stage. Like you buying each other lunch. One day he buys the lunch, one day she buys the lunch. Things like that. That would be second base. Third base would be, now you start making little plans, asking about the weekend. Now you're asking about the weekend. You seeing what the schedule looks like, seeing what's their availability, things like that. And it may not always get, sometimes a work spouse too. Let me pause. I don't want to get too far into it, because it don't necessarily have to get to like second base, third base. Sometimes it could just stay at work at first base. With just because some women are faithful. Like everybody don't, cross that line. But I feel like everybody flirts at work no matter what. So let's just get that clear. So everybody at least be like at first base. May not get to second base, like I said, with the investment stage and buying lunch and things like that. But everybody usually has somebody that they kind of flirt with at work. So it always usually gets to first base with the, just helping each other with work. And whenever you need help, you ask that person. That's just natural. We all kind of, gravitate towards somebody that we like in that setting. So third base, like I said, you're checking on the availability, checking on their schedule, seeing what's going on. And then throughout that conversation, if they're telling you like, hey, this is what I usually do on the weekend, this is my schedule, that they're showing you that they're open. Now it's open game. And depending on, if it's on the guy's end, if he's like patient or whatever, she's showing that she's open. If she's, starts telling you her schedule, like after work and what she do on the weekends, things like that. But if a guy is telling his schedule, that's his way, they're both opening up. Now it's like it's open game on both ends now. It's open game on both ends now. So, and if he's patient enough, he can hit that home run. Because the fact that she's even telling him about the schedule and what she's doing after work, or even just, like I said, hanging out after work, it's open game from there. Because, like I say, once you cross that investment stage, it can get real interesting. Because sometimes you might feel obligated to like hang out with somebody because they've been like buying you things or whatever. So once you get, that's why you should to avoid any type of serious relations at work, you have to kind of avoid that like investment stage. Because once it's investments on both ends, now obligations have to be met in some type of capacity. But yeah, it usually goes like first base, second base, third base. Like I said, third base, you usually find out their schedule, what they like to do on the weekends, showing you that they're open. So from there, it could be, it's open game, open season. So, and like I said, I was gonna tell you about how you could tell if you kind of might be getting cheated on, or if your wife or husband have like a little work spouse, a little work husband or work wife, because this is how it'll start off. They'll start off by trying to tell you little stories that happen at work. Little funny stories in their imagination. This is usually what women will do though. They'll try to be like, they'll try to tell you a story like, oh, John was so funny at work today. He did this, he did that. It'll start off with that. She'll tell you a little story. Then she'll tell you maybe a story a couple months later about the same guy. You know what I mean? So women kind of tell on themselves in that, I would say in that sense, because they'll kind of be like, they can't hold it in, so they'll be like, oh, Johnny was so funny at work today, he did this and that, because she don't think anything of it. She just thinks she's talking about her day. And I got women that watch my channel, so y'all know this real. But if you don't think it's real, lay something in the comments, because this is how it go down. This is how it go down. But guys usually, they just get caught up. Like, they won't tell stories to their wives at work, about work, when they get home from work. They usually won't. We usually don't tell stories. We usually just get caught up. Like, we usually go through it and we'll just get caught up. But women kind of start telling them themselves in the beginning, talking about how funny the guy was or what he did at work that was so amazing, or little stuff like that. Could be little tactics to get you jealous, who knows, depending on where you're at in your relationship. She could be, you know, trying to get you jealous or whatever, but that's how to play out. But guys, we just get caught up. Like, we'll like somebody at work and we'll just go through with it, and our girlfriend or our wife there just catches. Like, we won't really tell too much stories about her at work, but we'll just get caught up because we more sloppy. We definitely more sloppy. So, but yeah, that's how I wanted to wrap that up though, because you can always tell. Like with like I said, a female, she'll kind of tell stories about what he did at work, but guys, we just get caught up. So yeah, work spouse is real. It's not as prevalent as much now because, you know, like I said, the Me Too movement and HR, human resources, they do not play. Men will not ever win against human resources. Once it become that he say, she say, men don't win that battle. So it's not as prevalent as much, but it still goes on, as you know, heard when the survey, 50% of women and 41% of men have said that they've had some type of work spouse. So sheesh. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that because it was a fun topic, because I was doing some reading today and I just wanted to touch on that. So work husband and work wives, work spouse. So it was a fun one today. Definitely wanted to come back with you with another one. Woody P, you know I can't stop. I keep it rolling, I keep it going. So I'm not gonna stop. You're gonna keep getting it, keep being consistent. Let's get it, Woody P, with another one. Let's get it. Hit that bell icon for me too, because these videos coming every day. You know I'm not stopping. Let's get it.